You know, it seems like for the past few days, Yankees fans have been pretty melancholy. I can't imagine why. So today, I wanted to inject a little bit of optimism as we're 2 weeks out from opening day, and there's a lot of positives going on with this Yankees team that I feel are worth discussing that can maybe help bring you out of the dumps. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Welcome back, everybody! Welcome back. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep this episode positive. Although we did just get some news that Oswaldo Cabrera was scratched from the lineup today in Lakeland. However, good news, Aaron Boone said that he is just sick. He is not hurt, probably just has explosive diarrhea, so nothing to be too concerned about. I feel like we're in the dog days of spring. Everybody knows about the dog days of summer. August into early September, and there's no trades left to be made. The deadline has passed. It's just about baseball. It's just about gearing up for the playoffs, trying to win the division, all that stuff. I feel like we're in the dog days of spring right now, where teams are getting ready for opening day. There's not a lot of transactions. Rosters are pretty much set other than the position battles. And most of the news that we're going to get, honestly, is going to be of the negative variety. Guys getting injured. The time where injuries happen the most is spring training, when guys are gearing up for the season. So, what we're going to do is just kind of talk about some of the positives in camp that are happening right now. I want to highlight some things that you can be excited about, because I have a feeling like a lot of Yankees fans are just kind of down in the dumps after the Garrett Cole news. So I wanted to kind of go over some of the things that I've picked up on and that a lot of you have noticed, but maybe if you haven't really been tuned into baseball that closely, or maybe you have missed a couple of podcasts, you just want to get everything here in one spot, this is the spot for it. So let's first talk about Cody Bellinger, who looks absolutely tremendous so far in spring training. And I want to spotlight Cody Bellinger. This is our new player spotlight, which we can do. Part of the new computer, I can build all this stuff more into single scenes now. But I think a lot of people forget about this guy's resume, so I put it up there. Rookie of the Year, MVP, comeback players a couple years ago. And this is a guy who's hit 47 home runs in a season. He's hit over 300 in a season. And watching him, you can tell that he's healthy. The swing looks as good as it ever has to me. He's incredibly smooth in the outfield. He's hitting 500 this spring with an OPS of over 1,300, a couple of home runs, a couple of extra base hits. Now, anybody who's been watching baseball for a while can tell you that spring training stats are essentially meaningless. For instance, Kyle Higashioka, a couple years ago, led the Grapefruit League in home runs and then didn't hit one for like 2 months. But I don't want to focus on the stats. Okay? I want to assign some value to the eye test with this guy, because right now he is passing the eye test. He looks like an athlete. We have a comment here. Hang on. We just had a great comment. Somebody took the words right out of my mouth. Oh, I lost it. Oh, yeah. Brian NY says, he's an athlete. Yes, he is an athlete. He has been smooth in center field. He has been sculpting the baseball with his swing. MLB The Show comes out tonight at midnight. If you've got early release, the digital deluxe package or whatever. And in that game, there's always been multiple types of swings. There's a contact swing where you're just trying to put the ball in play. And then there's the power swing where you're trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And then there's just the normal swing where it's about, half and half. And I feel like the same thing used to exist in Major League Baseball, where some guys would have, a contact swing, some guys would have a power swing. But it seems like in recent years, pretty much every player is just going power swing 95% of the time, right? You might see the emergency hack in a big situation, trying to foul off a tough pitch or whatever. But for the most part, guys just have the power swing. Cody Bellinger is different. Having watched him, he has got a swing that he can just put the ball in play, right? When he's trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark, you might see him get a little bit more loopy, might get a little bit bigger with his swing. But you can also tell that he's got a swing where he's trying to carve the ball to left field or trying to find an open hole on the right side of the infield or trying to basically hit it where they ain't, an old baseball term, trying to move runners. And the way he plays defense in center field is basically, I think, on par with Trent Grisham, who's been our best defensive outfielder last year, but not a starting outfielder. So he looks tremendous out there. Got a good arm. He gets good jumps. He's very smooth. He's got a good athletic stride. He runs the bases well. So Cody Bellinger is someone who I think you can be extremely bullish on in terms of like your fantasy picks and things like that. I really don't know if he's going to be the MVP guy, 47 home runs ever again, but I can see him being the guy from 2 years ago with the Cubs who hit over 300, who had close to 30 home runs. I think he's going to be that guy this year. And, I'm kind of anxious to see a situational hitter. It's been a long time since we've had somebody who's a real situational hitter. I was hoping that Verdugo would be that guy because he's got contact in his past, but it wasn't. He didn't, he got into launch mode and ended up rolling over a bunch of ground balls to second base and first base last year. I think he led the league in ground balls to the right side. I was hoping that Volpe could maybe be that guy, but up to this point in his career, he's kind of been a mixed bag offensively. Occasionally he'll be on fire and occasionally he'll be swinging out of his shoes for home runs. And while spring training statistics don't mean much, the eye test can tell you a lot of what you need to know in spring. And Cody Bellinger is something that this team has been missing. A contact ability having lefty, right? Now, I know Soto was the guy last year who was, he hit for contact, he hit for power. He's a superstar. He's obviously not with the team anymore, so we're just going to remove him from the formula. But I feel like he was more power-driven than contact-driven. He would get his walks and home runs like a true Moneyball player. He would get hits. But I feel like Bellinger's a guy who's not going to walk quite as much as Soto, but he might get more hits. I don't think he's going to hit as many home runs, but I can see him hitting 30-plus. He won't replicate what Soto provided in terms of WAR. He's not going to give you 8 WAR, but he can give you 5. He really can. I'm going to project between 290 and 315 for Bellinger this year. OBP of around 340 to 360, between 25 and 35 home runs. Big, big season coming for Bellinger. The only downside to him having a big year is that if he does, the Yankees are going to find themselves in the exact same contract situation that they saw with Soto, where other teams are bidding for him. And with Kyle Tucker out there next year as a free agent, there's going to be teams that want Tucker but identify Bellinger as their backup plan. That honestly could be the Yankees too. But personally, if I'm the Yankees, I would try and extend him the minute he gets off to a good start. Give him a 3-year extension. You don't need to give him 10 years. He's not that type of player. I don't think he's going to even ask for that much. Give him a 3 to 4 year extension if he gets off to a good start. If June rolls around and he's hitting 290 with decent power and looks comfortable in New York, give him a deal. Overpay by a few $1 million a year if you have to. You'll save in the long run. Trust me. But bottom line, I feel great about what we've seen from Cody Bellinger so far. Some other guys that I want to talk about. Paul Goldschmidt. I think Paul Goldschmidt has looked really good. He's a guy whose stats don't jump off the page this spring. He's hitting 259 and 27 at-bats, 842 OPS. But again, the eye test is what I look for with veterans in spring training. And I'm seeing a guy who hits the ball harder than anything that we've seen from Anthony Rizzo the last few years. I see a extremely competent defender. His throws are really good. We've seen him make a couple of throws to second base. He makes accurate, on-the-money throws, and he's got a very quick transfer. And now, you may remember that Anthony Rizzo had a lot of defensive accolades before he came to the Yankees, but I never felt like he was really a great defensive first baseman with the Yankees. He made a lot of errors. He made a lot of bonehead moves, especially post-concussion. Now, last year after he came back from the latest injury, I thought he stepped up his defense a little bit, but his offense completely fell off the table. He had no power. He had no pop whatsoever. We're actively seeing Paul Goldschmidt work on things, specifically tailoring his swing to drive the ball to right field. Something that he's always been able to do, but that has never really been his primary game. I think this year he's going to put a little bit more emphasis on the right side of the field, taking advantage of the short porch. His bat speed looks really good to me. He runs the bases well. I think he's going to be a good pickup. I think he's going to be one of Brian Cashman's more clever pickups. And physically, he's in incredible shape. The eye test is especially good for things like athleticism, right? I mean, you look at DJ LeMahieu, and you can tell that he's got nothing left in his legs, nothing left in his feet. You look at Giancarlo Stanton, you see him, he looks like a physical specimen, but he moves like Frankenstein. Paul Goldschmidt is loose. Cody Bellinger is loose. In the same way that Trent Grisham is loose. These guys are athletes. You want loose athletes who aren't going to break down with muscle strains all the time. Even Bellinger's injuries, a lot of them have been hit by pitches, collisions, that type of stuff. They haven't been like groin, hamstring, oblique. He hasn't had a ton of that type of stuff. He's had some. Goldschmidt plays 150 games a year. The guy is a physical specimen. He's built for first base. I'm not saying he's going to win an MVP, but he's going to be a damn sight better than Anthony Rizzo was. He's going to get some big hits for this team in big spots. As far as the other guys go, the new additions, I haven't seen much out of Devin Williams. He's only thrown a couple of innings. But from what I've heard, throwing the ball well, he's healthy. He had a back injury last year. That seems to be in the past. Max Fried threw the ball really well. The one outing I saw him, he fatigued a little bit. He's pitching today. The Yankees are not going to alter his routine to allow him to start on opening day. I'm fine with that. I don't give a shit who starts on opening day. You want to win the game, but it's of equal importance to every other game. Sure, it can set the tone. I mean, last year, when you beat the Astros in that big comeback win on opening day, it kind of set the tone for that whole series where the Yankees swept. And it allowed for some guys to get off to hot starts. Oswaldo Cabrera, Juan Soto, and so forth. And the Yankees got off to a pretty good start, again. You want them to get off to a good start, but honestly, it doesn't matter who starts opening day. I mean, you just want to win the game. Carlos Rodon, it sounds like, is going to be your opening day starter. I can see him being amped up. It's going to be a packed house against Milwaukee. Milwaukee does have some good right-handed hitters like Jackson Chourio, who is dangerous, so the Yankees got to be careful there. But honestly, as long as the rotation as it is right now stays mostly together and mostly healthy, I mean, sure, losing Garrett Cole's a big hit, but we can survive this. We can still make the playoffs. And then, maybe you pick up somebody at the trade deadline. So, new guys, new pickups, looking good. And we've had some guys taking steps forward. To me, the big step forward so far that I've seen is Austin Wells. Since the moment he was drafted, Yankees scouts and front office personnel have said Austin Wells is going to hit. And Austin Wells has a great swing. It's very compact. Last year, when he finally got the opportunity to make the team out of spring training, he struggled for the first couple of months. He really wasn't getting full playing time. He was still kind of sharing with Jose Trevino. It's tough to get into a rhythm when you're doing that. This year, the job is his. He knows the job is his. He had that stretch last year where his OPS was over 900. After that, he was not yielding the catching position again. Not with how good he is defensively as well. I think fatigue kind of got him, late in the season. He got a little bit tired, playing all those games. First full season in the major leagues. I hope that this year, he's able to, adjust a little bit more and maintain that peak offensive performance a little bit deeper, hopefully throughout the whole season and hopefully the playoffs. But he's been leading off this spring. He's been showing good power. He's been showing comfort in the leadoff spot. His swing looks even more compact than it did last year. He's pulling the ball in the air, which is good for big, strong lefties at Yankee Stadium. And like I was saying, again, with the eye test, you can identify confidence. You can identify when a guy is seeing the ball well and feeling comfortable. And he knows that the starting job is his, that he has the full faith and confidence of the pitching staff, and that he can just go out and do his thing offensively. And I think that's going to lead to a much bigger year. I think we're looking at 25 home runs from Austin Wells. I don't know if he's going to hit 280, 290. I mean, he hit 230 something last year, but 260 maybe with a 340 on base percentage. And I think there's a good chance that he becomes an American League All-Star. Cal Raleigh and Adley Rutschman are going to be his main competition for that. but he's definitely one of the top catchers in the American League right now. Steve Rojas says, Austin Wells is our leadoff hitter, and he says it in all caps. And it appears that that's what's going to happen. It appears that that's the way that Aaron Boone is going to go. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'd rather take advantage of his power with more guys on base, but maybe he'll get some pitches to hit in front of Aaron Judge. He'll work the count a little bit. Anthony Volpe, also hitting the ball harder this spring and swinging the bat faster, according to his metrics. I'm not going to lie. This is a big, big year for Anthony Volpe. The training wheels are off. In a year in which the expectations are now, full steam. They're when he first got called up, he didn't have a lot of time in AAA. So I kind of gave him a pass. A lot of Yankees fans kind of gave him a pass. Some people were hard on him. He took some strides last year. He raised his average about 30 points. Power went down. Defense was fine. But this year, you want him to put the whole package together. You want the defense and you want the offense. You want 270 out of Volpe with 18 to 20 home runs, 30-plus stolen bases, and his usual solid defense. Now, he has not played great defensively in Tampa. I'm not super worried about that because he has the track record of being a good defender. Is he Bobby Witt? No, he's not Bobby Witt. Is he Gunnar Henderson? No, he's not Gunnar Henderson. But he looks like a top 5 shortstop in the American League. So I think we're seeing some nice steps forward from a few guys. We've also seen some young guys take steps forward. Everson Pereira looked really good this spring. He got sent down because he's recovering from Tommy John surgery. They want to give him more time in the outfield. We saw George Lombard really, really step up as a blue chip prospect. I have him penciled in as the Yankees' third baseman next year. I should say as soon as next year, but at some point next year, I think he's the Yankees' starting third baseman. He's got the athleticism. He's got the power. He's got the speed. He's got the arm. The defense is terrific. But most importantly, he's got a great head on his shoulders. He's got that Yankee vibe. That it factor that Aaron Judge has, that Derek Jeter had, that Jorge Posada and Andy Pettit and Mariano Rivera had, that quiet kind of confidence where you're comfortable in your own skin. That's what we're seeing from George Lombard Jr. at 19 years old. Kid's going to be an absolute stud. I would bet every dollar in my bank account on it. He stays healthy. He's going to be a big-time impact major leaguer. And over the last few years, we've seen a lot of people pining for the Yankees to give kids the opportunity to play. And I'm with you. I love seeing kids get the chance. I know we've had our issues with Jason Dominguez on defense, but I'm absolutely psyched about his offensive potential. He's been swinging the bat better the last week or so. He's off to a bit of a slow start, but he's had some really good at-bats, really professional at-bats. He's hitting the ball harder. He's hit for power. I saw him hit one out to center field the other day from the left side of the plate. I still want to see a little bit more from the right side of the plate. He's shown the speed. He's beat out some ground balls to shortstop. He hustles. He plays hard. I think you stick him in the 7-hole. I was going to hit him leadoff, but the Yankees aren't going to do that. They're not going to put that kind of pressure on him. Stick him in the 7-hole. You say, go be yourself. Go play every day. Do your thing. And I think he's going to improve, not only defensively, but offensively as well. I still think he's a Rookie of the Year candidate. We'll see. I was watching Francesa yesterday, and it was great to have Francesa back. He had a couple of weeks off. And he was talking about how he would move Dominguez to the DH spot for the time being. I had Ray Fonseca on the other day, and we were talking about that. Some people think it'll stunt his growth defensively. Look, if you want to use him at the DH for a couple of months and have him work on the side, I'm not opposed to that. I think that he can make some strides without really having to play every day in the field. You can work on things during BP, taking balls live. Anybody who's played the outfield can tell you that. As far as third base goes, it's going to be either Oswaldo Cabrera or Oswald Peraza or some combination of the two. As we mentioned, Oswaldo out today, probably diarrhea. But if he ends up being healthy, I think people are excited to see what Oswaldo can do given the chance. He showed some great moments last year. He showed some clutch ability. I was hoping he would get more bats in the playoffs because he seemed like the type of guy who would step up under the big spotlight. But maybe he breaks out this year. Maybe he breaks out. And Oswald Peraza, looks as good defensively as any third baseman that I've seen the Yankees have in the recent memory. I mean, he looks every bit as good defensively as Josh Donaldson. He really does. The question is he going to hit? And I guess we'll find out over the next couple of months. And it'll be fun finding out. And if he doesn't, maybe we go out and make a trade, because this is going to be one of those years where the Yankees are active in the trade market. Some years they sit tight. Some years they're very active. I was anticipating this being one of the seasons where they don't do much, but given the injury to Garrett Cole and the other injuries that are likely to pop up along the way, the Yankees are probably not a 95-win team anymore. They're more like 89 to 90 wins. So to get over that hump and to win the division, they're going to need some people from the outside. But like Brian Cashman said, they're just not available yet. Nobody's trading their starting pitching right now. Nobody's trading any big bats right now. You're going to wait for for teams to fall out of it. But it's not too early to start thinking about who we could add, I think they're going to focus on pitching. Dylan Cease or Michael King. I expect one of them or both of them to be Yankees by the end of the season. If Giancarlo doesn't come back and Dominguez plays fine in left field, I expect Luis Ariz to be somebody the Yankees consider. I think they're going to be very aggressive. Last year, Ariz was traded from the Marlins to the Padres in May. And that's earlier than you typically see trades happen. A lot of times trades don't happen until, right around the trade deadline, the weeks leading up to the trade deadline. But Cashman might have to be aggressive in the same way that A.J. Preller is usually aggressive. If you're trying to win this year, you're going to need some help from the outside. And I think that the Yankees this year are going to be aggressive. So that will be something fun to look forward to, something that we can discuss on this channel on a daily basis, because we're going to be here every single day. I'm looking forward to all your voicemails and all the different things that pop up with this season. But right now, obviously, lots of reasons to be melancholy without Garrett Cole, without Giancarlo, but plenty of positives as well. Going to take a quick ad break to hear about Hungryroot from the guys at Foul Territory, and then I'll be back. We got a few voicemails to get to, and then we'll wrap up. Back in about 60 seconds.
Kratz, do you like spending an hour on grocery shopping?
Nope. Speed up the process, please.
Introducing Hungryroot to the FT fam.
Now we can all be bougie with our own personal shopper to handle the food shopping, including recs based on what you're looking to put in your body.
I stack my Hungryroot box with items like gluten-free, dairy-free, blueberry waffles for breakfast, shrimp veggie bowls for lunch, and a little filet mignon with potatoes and broccolini for dinner.
You can also say just, hey, Hungryroot, I eat paleo, or I'm vegetarian, and they load up your cart with personalized recommendations.
And those recs keep evolving as they learn about what you're into. Also, no BS, as in no artificial sweeteners or preservatives in any of Hungryroot's food. You're going to love Hungryroot as much as FT does. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/FT and use code FT. That's hungryroot.com/FT, code FT to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life.
May I have your attention?
All right, so let's go ahead and get to some comments here. We got a few calls on the Trevor Bauer video that we did the other day. Look, I'm staunchly against bringing in Trevor Bauer. I've never liked the guy, but some of you are in favor of it. Some of you are not. We got one guy here defending OJ and comparing him to OJ. So let's go ahead and go through the Bauer emails or voicemails. We got 3 of them real quick, and I'll respond to it.
What's going on, Derek? I just wanted to really quickly talk about, I know you had the show recently about Bauer potentially, and I know that you don't think this either. You never said you do, but I don't even think it's worth talking about personally. It's not going to happen. No team's going to sign him because of all the baggage that he comes with. And like a lot of people are saying, we probably don't even know a lot. Like he was found, not guilty or whatever in his trial, but there's so many things that we probably don't even know that these other teams do know. Also, it's just really hard to be optimistic about this season. I mean, who's hurt? It's Stanton, Heel, Cole, LeMahieu, Loizaga, Brubaker, Mastic, Schmidt, I think, is going to be late to the season. Cousins, Beater. I think I got them all. Maybe Mastic is on there. I don't know if
So much for positivity.
I mean, it's so ridiculous that this happens year in and year out. And at this point, the team is inarguably substantially worse than it was at the start of last year.
Well, I wouldn't say substantially worse. Don't forget, we didn't have Garrett Cole at the beginning of last season either. So, I mean, that is what it is. I agree with you that the Bauer thing is not going to happen. He has reportedly signed with the Bay Stars of Japan, but from what I understand is that a lot of times with those Japanese contracts, if an American team comes along and wants to bring back an American League player, the two teams work something out financially. So that won't be an obstacle, but I think just his general who he is going to be an obstacle.
Derek, it's your old pal Jason. With all the Trevor Bauer talk amongst the fan base, I say sign the guy. I think it's a no-brainer. Especially if it's for the league minimum. He's still got his stuff. He's got a great personality, if you ask me. Not in terms of I necessarily want to be best friends with the guy, but I want that dog in him on my team. And especially with the amount of pitching that we have going down, the amount of uncertainty. O.J. Simpson got acquitted, and there's so many guys out there that, get accused of doing shitty things. And hey, I'm probably guilty of doing shitty things. I can't tell you how many baseball players are in the Hall of Fame that are liars, cheaters, and thieves. But,
first of all, O.J. Simpson killed everyone in that driveway. He wrote a book about it where he basically admitted to it. He said it was hypothetical. He also got found liable. I don't care that he was acquitted. He got acquitted because the prosecution screwed it up, and they had him try on the gloves, which were, they didn't fit because he stopped taking his arthritis medicine. He killed his wife and that woman. He did it. No question. Absolute. His DNA was mixed with their DNA inside of his locked car while he was out of town. Get over that. He did it. As far as Bauer, not as bad as what OJ did, obviously, but I think his career is over.
Hey, Derek, great show. New at your podcast, but my name is Abel. I've been a long-time Yankee fan since I was 10 years old. I lived near Yankee Stadium, and me and my dad always went and attended a lot of games when I was a teenager. My question to you, and I've been a long-time Yankee fan, and at the moment I'm not really happy with what's going on. Jason is not really doing too well out in the outfield. DH is available. Put the guy that can swing the bat both directions, left, right, doesn't matter. Let him swing the bat. DH is for that purpose. We don't know how long Stanton's going to be out. That's take care of DH. Third base.
Appreciate it. So let's talk about Dominguez first. Look, we still got a couple of weeks left in spring training. Season doesn't begin for 2 weeks. If he continues to have problems, and I haven't seen any problems recently, then I think that that's an opportunity for the Yankees to get him some more at-bats at DH. But, if you're trying to add more run prevention, right, because you've lost Garrett Cole, one way you do that is you add in, a defensive whiz in center field that is Grisham, and that allows you to put Bellinger in left, Judge in right, Dominguez at DH. But I don't see the Yankees doing that quite yet. If it becomes a real problem during games that matter, you might see that change. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. First episode here with my new computer, and everything. Like the comments seem to be going, on the screen, at a faster pace, which was a main objective. We've got the different player profiles and stuff that we can add on the screen now. Things like that. I'm able to add more stuff, so I think we're gonna have a lot more bells and whistles this year. But thanks to everybody who joined. Yankees play today in Lakeland. Max Fried on the mound. I'm going to try and do a post-game show tomorrow night. But again, a couple of weeks out from opening day. Stay tuned. I'll be back with any news that breaks. And we'll see you when we see you. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, Be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.